All right, let's talk some tech as the Mag 7 roared today. Brad Gastworth joins us, founder and CIO at Unearthing Opportunities. Brad, thanks for being here this afternoon. Tell us what kind of opportunities you guys are unearthing right now. Is it the same golden jewels that the market's been relying on for the past year, or anything else rising here?
Well, I mean, clearly this market is having a lot of fuel behind this rally, given the Trump election, and now with another basis point cut, another 25 basis points, there's a lot of fuel here that's going to add to the rally. On the AI side, there's really nothing different in terms of the leaderboard, and I think the leaderboard is going to continue. I mean, the companies that are spending the most money are going to benefit, and the Wall Street didn't like that initially when you had Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft have huge spend, but that is by far the right thing to do. The leaders, they need to spend, they're going to spend, and it's going to pay off dividends in the years to come.
All right. Any favorites right now? What is like a must own in the stock market?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking large cap, I think you have to have significant exposure to Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft.
Okay.
I think there's also a play to, if you look at what's going to happen with the government, will they actually break up these companies at some point? I think it's a likelihood in the next 3 to 5 years that these companies do get broken up. I think the sum of the parts is significantly greater than what we are at. So I think that's a good scenario for stockholders and shareholders. And I think you still have to have exposure for sure to that space.
Okay. Microsoft, kind of one of the weaker looking charts after earnings. Does that concern you at all, the market's reaction to their latest report?
Yeah, not really. I think they're executing on all levels. I mean, if you look at what they're doing on the cloud side, we're seeing significant growth. I think they're actually one of the leaderboards with Copilot, and I think they're spending in the right places. On the Office suite side, the initial upgrades to the AI suite is very favorable. And the chart, yeah, I mean, you can, I'm not a technical strategist, and I think when you look at technically, you can make things look however you want, quite honestly, depending on the duration of that chart. But I think you have strong fundamentals, and I don't like to go against fundamentals.
Okay. Amazon, as you mentioned, has just been crushing. What do you see as the main force there? I mean, obviously they get most of the vast majority of their profit from the cloud side, but it seems like the e-commerce and retail is also really hitting its stride these days.
Yeah, Oliver. I mean, really, it's all levels. I mean, they're executing across the board. And what you were talking about earlier in terms of like the Expedia and that number, I think that Amazon's still in the talks to be one of the acquirers of Expedia.
Think so? Wow.
They've always cared about travel. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go more into the travel side. And I know that Uber and there's others that are in that realm of who might be somebody to look at. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see some type of major acquisition. And now with the new government, I think they're going to be more pro mergers, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something crazy like that happen.
Okay. Tesla with the big ramp yesterday. Any wild card stuff now that Elon's best friends with the incoming president?
So I've always had an issue with companies that have, CEOs of multiple companies, especially if they're multiply public companies or multiple billion-dollar plus companies. Now, Musk has done quite well, and he's, solidified himself as able to balance multiple companies. I think Tesla has, great technology. I think there's some issues with their Chinese exposure. And I also see, the long-term play here is not the individual EV side. It's the robotics play. So I think, you're going to go through some bumps in the road with Tesla, especially on, we had a horrible production number, even the Rivian number that just was printed. I mean, they just cut by over, 20% for the production for next quarter. I mean, the numbers are not great on the production side. Everybody's saying bottlenecks with the semiconductors. I think there's significantly more EV, products out there, and I think ultimately you're having a race to the pricing and who's going to win at the lower prices. And I see some of these incumbents winning as they have better, EV selection.
Okay, hey Brad, last thought. You talk about the great bifurcation. When we get into the cloud section of earnings coming up, do those companies have more of an uphill battle? Will they be competing more with AI that can do some of their jobs?
So, I mean, the great bifurcation by far, Oliver, I mean, and thanks for bringing that up. I think this is a significant theme for the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, you're going to see dramatic shift in wealth, and but from the company side, you're seeing incredible efficiencies that will happen on cloud. I think you're going to see companies become efficient across the board. I think the companies that are more likely impacted are, some on it's more on the retail side, quite honestly. But I think the cloud side will see impact. Will it help them overall? I think as these companies spend and you're getting more efficiency, it's going to benefit companies with that. But cloud related, I think overall you're seeing efficiencies happen, and that benefits all companies.
Great thoughts, Brad. Appreciate you being here. Nice way to cap our session today with big tech out in front.